Hello everyone. So we are at Tuesday's lesson. That's the 6th of April, right? So you'll be watching this lesson on a Tuesday, I hope so. And before I start, I should say to the girls who are regularly sending me the homeworks or messaging me the homeworks, asking the doubts, really girls, well done. At least I know that you girls are doing the lessons on daily basis. Now some of the others who have disappeared, I have no idea what's going on. I hope you all are also doing lessons on daily basis. At least if not, you don't want to listen to math daily, at least try to do it every after the other day, so that it will not become a burden for you at you have to study everything at once. But best is you do it on daily as the others are doing. Okay, now before I start the lesson, to go on with the lesson, we'll be finishing this chapter today. I told you yesterday to do question number 5 on page what was the page number? Page 519. Now before we start, first let me give you two important things. I have to tell you two very important things. I told those who messaged me the homework, do not use pen to draw graphs. Never ever use pen to draw graph. And also you must always use a ruler to draw the line. Most of the graphs which I had checked were in a mess, so please girls, you don't draw the lines just by free hand. Okay, you cannot, we are not so perfect to draw the lines exactly straight without using a ruler. So do use a ruler, because we are learning about linear equations, which means the graphs should have straight lines. So two important things: do not use a pen to draw a graph, and always use a ruler to draw to join the points and draw the line. Okay, now we will start by discussing the homework which was for yesterday. That's question number 5. As they have not given us the table, let me make the line a bit thin because I don't like thick lines. Okay, so we have to draw a table. Now you can draw it more perfectly, unlike me. Okay, because you're using a pencil. Never use pens. That's what I've been telling you all. Do not use pen any situation of math, but at least not in this part, because you cannot use pens to draw graphs. Okay, so I will draw a rectangle. I have divided that into two parts, and then I'm dividing it again into 4 parts. So this is the second, and this is going to be the third. Okay, so you have to make the table, else you will not get the answers. So here you will name this as X, and then you will name the other side as Y. Now let's find out. It's up to you which values of X you have to give. Now you have to be very smart here. Don't make it very difficult for you. Choose the numbers which are easy for you, and always make sure the answer which we are getting, that is the value of Y, is given in the Y axis in your graph. Okay, now because this is an easier equation, like 2 plus 1 is 3, 3 plus 1 is 4. So up to you, you can choose any number you want to. So let me choose, these are my numbers. You are free to choose any numbers you want. Now the easy numbers are always 0, 1, 2, 3. But just for a change, I will take 2 as X, and then 4 and 6. Okay, these are my numbers. You can choose any numbers you want to. And anyhow, the only important thing is the line of the graph, how they are. If yours and mine matches, they look the same, then that means your answer is right. Okay, so here in place of X, I will write 2. So 2 plus 1 will give me 3. Okay, so in place of in place of X, I will write 4. So 4 plus 1 will give me 5. In place of X, I will write 6. So 6 plus 1 will give me 7. So that means when X is 2, Y is 3. When X is 4, Y is 5. And when X is 6, Y is 7. So let's quickly draw the graph. So when X is 2, Y is 3. So X is 2, Y is 3. 3 is not given in the graph, but we all know it's between 2 and 4. Then when X is 4, Y is 5. So X is 4, again 5 is not given. So we know 5 is in between 4 and 6. This is going to be 5. I'm writing this so that you will not search for the numbers. Okay. Oops. Fine. The next one is 6 and 7. So when X is 6, where is 7? Again, there is no 7, but we know 7 is in between 6 and 8. So this is 7. So you go all along 6, so it's here, and then 7, and then draw the line. Use the ruler to join the points. So your point will be something like this, and then you will draw the arrows on either sides of the line. So your graph needs to be like that. Try to make the arrow with the line. Okay, so your graph needs to be like this. So you can match your graph and mine and check if the line is going to be the same one. Okay, the next one I asked you to do was question number 2 on the homework page. That's page number 521. So let's also try to do this and see if the answer you got and the one I got is correct or not. Okay, so here again, draw a rectangle. Divide the rectangle into 2 parts, and then again divide it into 1. Now mine are one up, one big, one small, but you girls can do it perfectly. As I always say, keep your book neat and clean. Okay, so this was the table. So here I will write X first, and then you have to write on the other side Y. Now in this equation, you have to be very, very, very smart. Why? Now for example, if you take 1 here in place of X, how can you divide 1 by 3? It's not that you cannot divide, you can divide, but you will get your answer of Y in fraction. Okay, so you have to be smart enough when you're choosing the answer number for X here. So take the numbers which are easy for us to divide by 3. So which are the easy ones which we have? We have 3. Okay, because 3 divided by 3 will give you 1. And the next number which is easy, like choose the table of 3. 3 ones are 3. What's the next number? 6, because 6 divided by 3 will give you 2. It's okay if you're taking like 5 or 4, it's okay, but then you will be in trouble because you will get the answer in decimals for that or fractions. So here between these you will have to search for the decimals and fractions. So be smart enough to choose the numbers which are easy for us to divide. So here I have taken 369, which means in place of X I will put 3. So 3 divided by 3 will give me 1. So 6 divided by 3 is going to give me 2. And 9 divided by 3 is going to give me 3. See, as easy as that. You have to be smart. Okay, so let's draw the graph. So when X is 3, Y is 1. So the point is going to be, the point is going to be here. So 3 and 1, the point will be here. Then when X is 6, Y is 2. So 6 and 2. So it's going to be here. Then when X is 9, Y is 3. When X is 9, Y is 3. That's going to be here. Okay, now use your ruler and try to draw the graph, the line straight. See, this is why I stress the importance of straight, because when you don't draw, use a ruler, you will not know that your graph is straight or not. See, even by using this, the line wasn't straight. Okay, so all what you need to be doing is next to draw the arrows on either sides of the line. So I hope you have got these answers right. So keeping this aside, now let's continue with our lesson. Let's go back to page 519, where I told you yesterday, I will show you how to write the linear equations for the graphs. Now in this part of the lesson, they have given us the graph. You don't need to draw it. All what you need to do is we have to find out the equation, because the equation was not given. It's in fact the opposite of what we did now. For these questions, the equations were given and we drew the graph, but here the equation is given and we have to write the graph is given. Sorry for that changing. Here the graph is given, we have to write the equation. So how do you write the equation when the graph is given? As the same, first let's draw a table. Always keep in mind, draw a table. So let's draw the table. Without drawing the table, if you have to be like very careful to find out what happened. So to make it clear for you, I'm drawing the table as the same. Okay, I'm drawing a rectangle, dividing it into two parts and then again into one. Here, because they have given us 4 coordinates, let's make it into 5. We will divide the table into 5. Now my table is not perfect, don't mind. Okay, so here as the same, we will write here the value of x and then the value of y. So here it's going to be x, and on this part it's going to be y. Now we don't have to give the values of x because already the coordinates are given here. The coordinates are already given to you. All what we need to do is we will separate the x and y which is given, and let's write. Now how am I going to separate the x and y? Look at this part here. It's 2 and 1. Right, so always, as I have told you, always write it like this so that you will not get confused. This is going to be your x, the value of x, and this is going to be the value for y. Always the value of x is given first, and then it looks more like a sick x. Okay, x is tired, fine. So this is going to be the value of x, and then this is going to be the value for y. Always they will give you the value of x in an ordered pair and then the value of y. So it's going to be the same for the other one. So let's write down the values of x here. In this one, first start with the first point from down. So what's the value of x there? It's 2. And what's the value of y? It's 1. Move on to the next point. What's the value of x given? That's 4. And what's the value of 1? That's 3. Okay, now as the same, what's the value of x? It's 6. What's the value of y? It's 5. What's the value of x in the other one? It's 8. And the value of y is 7. Okay, now look at this table. Now this is similar to lesson 3 which we did. The only difference is here I drew the table the long way. In that lesson the table was given the other way, the other side. Okay, here now we have to find out how did this x become y. Now, as I have told you many times in lesson 3, if the value of x is more than the value of y, that means it's minus, or you have to divide. So here, let's see, how did the x become y? It needs to be 2 minus 1. How did the 4 become y? Again, it's minus 1. How did the 6 become 5? Again, minus 1, right? So the pattern here, again, we are searching for the pattern. Pattern is x minus 1. So how are you going to write the formula here? Always start by writing y equals, as usual, right? So y equals x. What happened to the x? Minus 1. So this is going to be your equation. The pattern which we got, you will say as x minus 1. Now here if it was plus 1, you will say x plus 1. It's the same lesson which we learned for lesson 3. They will give you the table. Rather than giving the table, they gave us the graph. So that's why I drew a table so that you will remember what we did. So from the table, we will find out the pattern. So the pattern of the table was or the rule as we call the table of the table was minus 1. So we write y is equal to x minus 1. Now I will give you 2 minutes. You find out what's the equation for question number 4. Just 2 minutes. So your 2 minutes starts now. Okay, I hope you must have finished the equation by now. So let's see whether the equation you have got is the same as what I'm going to get. So all what I did was, during the 2 minutes which I gave you, I wrote the values here, x, y, because this is not to confuse ourselves, that's all. And then draw the table and then name that part as x and y, the table. All what we are going to do is we are going to write the coordinates, the ordered pair here. So when x was 2, y was 1. So x was 2, y was 1. And then when x is 4, y is 2, right? So write down the values. When x is 3, x is 6, y is 3. And when x is 8, y is 4. Now again from the table you can see that the value of x is more than the value of y. So which two rules are we going to choose between? So because the value of x is more than the value of y, either it has to be minus or it has to be divide. So the minus. Now if you choose as minus, 2 minus 1 is 1. Is 4 minus 1 going to be 2? Of course not. 4 minus 2 is 2. 6 minus 3 is 3, which the rule is different when you choose minus. So if it's not minus, it has to be divide. So 2 divided by what will give you 2? 2 divided by 2 will, because I will have to be using here the division sign. So because I cannot use the division sign, I will use the pencil. So 2 divided by how much will give you 1? 2 divided by 2 will give me 1, right? Is the rule the same for 4? 4 divided by 2, will that give you a 2? Yes, it will. So is 6 divided, don't laugh looking at my 2. Is 6 divided by 2 going to give me a 3? Yes, it is. So the rule for this table is going to be divided by 2. Now that you know the rule, can we write the equation for this? I hope you all have written. So that's going to be, why did the y come? Okay, let me write it here. Y equals, always start the equation with y equals x. What happened to the x? It became divided by 2. Now again girls, I cannot use the division sign here because in the keyboard there is no division sign. So I'm using this slash, that also means divide. You can use the sign divide. Okay, divided by 2. That's what the pattern is. So the x, y is x divided by 2. Here also 4 divided by 2. So x divided by 2 is the equation for question number 4. Y is equal to x divided by 2. Now rather than writing this, either you can also write it as a fraction. Y is equal to x over 2. You can also write this. That's also going to be right. As a fraction also you can do, because you can put 2 up and 2 down. So 2 divided by 2 is going to give you 1, but you have to put the dividing sign down. Okay, I'll just try to do that with the pencil again. So it has to be like this, x divided by 2, or here you can say x divided by 2. It's the same whether you write it like this or you write it like this or you write it like this. Your equation is going to be the same one. So let's quickly move on to question number 7 on the same page. Let's do it together. The graph shows the number of loaves of bread y. So number of loaves is y that Karim bakes in x hours. So the time is x and the number of loaves of bread is y. Write the linear equation for the relationship shown by the graph. So here we have to write the equation. Look at the table, right? So sorry, not the table, the coordinates. So that's 1 1, 2 2, 4 4, 5 5. So the value of x is 1. The value of y is also 1. The value of x is 2. The value of y is also 2. Now, keeping this, how do you think you can write the equation? Always start by writing the value of y first. Y equals, what happened to the x? X is same when y is same. X is same, y is same. So that means simply y is equal to x, because 1 equals 1, 2 equals 2, 4 equals 4, 5 equals 5. So which means y is equal to x. There is no operation. There is nothing like plus or minus in between them. It's the same. it's like 1 plus 0 is 1, 2 plus 0 is 2, but we don't have an equation for x plus 0. So that means we say y is equal to x. This is going to be your equation. Okay, now I'll just give you half a minute. No need half a minute, you can just write the answer. Just I hope that you understood this part, question number 7. So let's move on to page 520. As usual, your favorite problem solving part. Okay, here you are going to write a linear equation for the relationship shown by the graph. So you are going to use this graph. Use your equation to predict the height of the bamboo plant after 7 days. So you need to do two things. First is write the linear equation. Write an equation, and then you are going to use your equation to predict the height of the bamboo plant after 7 days. So we take as days as x and the height as y. Here they did not give us the ordered pair, so we have to write the ordered pair there. How do you read the ordered pair? Here, see, this is the point. How do you read this? When y is 1, sorry, x is 1, what is y? It's 50. So this is how we write ordered pairs. These are nothing new to you girls. All of you know these how to be written, right? So when x is 1, y is 50. What are you going to do here? The value of x first. X is 2. What's the value of y? Look at the other side, it's 100. So when x is 2, y is 100. Okay, I think 3 points will be more than enough for us to write the equation. So when x is 3, okay, what is the value of y? Look at this. This is 3. You go up, up, up until you reach the line, and then go across. It's going to be 150. So now we know we have the values of x and y. X is 1, y is 50. X is 2, y is 100. X is 3, y is 150. Now let's find out the pattern in this. Now I'm not going to draw the table again. It's the same as with the question we did previously. So even if you draw the table, you will have x is 1. What happened to the y? What happened to get the y? How did the y become 50 when x is 1? So x is less here. The x is a small number. So that means either you will use addition or multiplication. It cannot be addition because 1 plus 49 gives you 50. 2 plus 49 will not give you 100. So it has to be a pattern for multiplying. So you multiply it by what? You multiply 1 with what to get 50? Of course, you multiply 1 with 50 to get 50. Then you multiply 2 with 50 to get 100. You multiply 3 with 50 to get 150. So how are you going to write the equation now? Of course, you start with y equals x, right, multiplied by 50, which means you can write your equation as 50x, which means because we are multiplying a letter with a number, both of the number and letter you can write together, but we give the importance here as 50x, not x50. Some of them had written x25 like that. I told it's not like that. You bring the number in front, so that is going to be 50x, which means 50 multiplied by x. This is going to be your equation. Okay, now use your equation to predict the height of the bamboo plant after 7 days. So in place of x, we say as y is equal to 50 multiplied by 7, because number of days is 7 and number of days is x. So how much is that going to give you? Y is equal to 7 multiplied by 50 is going to give you 350. Basic facts, 5 sevens are 35, add the 0. That's all. So how will you write the answer? You have to write it as the height of plant will be 350. It is in centimeters. You can look at the table here. It is in centimeters. So plant will be 350 centimeters after 7 days. So this is going to be your answer. This is how you will have to find out and write the equation and then answer the question which they have asked you. Okay. And now moving on, let's see. I will not do question number 10. Let's do question number 11. That's going to be the last question for today. Okay, Antonio claims the linear equation for the relationship shown by the graph is y is equal to half x plus 2. Use numbers and words to support Antonio's claim. So all that we are going to do is we are going to use numbers and words. Okay, so first we will draw the table, right? Now, if I'm drawing the table here, okay, here we go, the table. Oh, do it like that. Okay, just use a small space and draw. That's enough. Going to be enough, more than enough for you. And we will not be using all the values of x. We will just use some of that, at least 3. They have given us 4, so let's use 3. So that's going to be, okay, I will not draw the line as I have used these. So I will just directly write the letters here. This is going to be x and that's going to be y. Here, when x is 2 from the graph, I'm talking from the graph, when x is 2, y is 3, right? When x is 4, y is 4. Y is 4. When x is 6, y is 5. So x is 6, y is 5. Now let's use the formula which he has given. Y is equal to half x. So 1 over 2x plus 2. Now let's check if x is 2, will that give us 3? Let's see. Y is 3. They already gave us 3. So 3 equals 1 over 2 multiplied by 2 plus 2. Is that going to give us 3? Now, there's the same thing I'm solving. Half into 2. Half multiplied by 2. So how much is half multiplied by 2? I'll just show you here in this part. Half multiplied by 2, which means it's going to be 2 over 1. Right? So 2 ones are going to be 2 divided by 2, which is going to be equal to 1. Okay, so which means half multiplied by 2 is going to give us 1. Okay, so that's going to be 3 equals 1 plus 2, because already y is 3. So is 1 plus 2 equal 3? Yes, it's going to be 1 plus 2 equals 3, which means Antonio's equation is right. So this was for 1. Let's try for another one. 4 and 4. So y is 4. X is going to be half multiplied by, half x means what? Half multiplied by 4, right? Plus 2. Now half of 4. How much is half of 4? I will not show you the steps now. Half of 4 is 2. So that's going to be 4 equals 2 plus 1. Sorry, 2 plus 2, because it's 2 plus 2. So both sides of our equations have to be equal. Okay, so that's going to be 4 equals 2 plus 2 is 4, which means Antonio's now claim is also right here. So how are you going to use words now to show that Antonio's answers are right? You just have to say that where is the box? Okay, you just have to say the ordered pairs um, 2 and 3, that's from the graph. Okay, 2 3, and what's the next one we check? 4 4 are on the line. So Antonio's equation is, so just you have to use your words. These are my words. You can choose your own words. Not necessarily you just have to copy what I'm doing. So oops. Where did these words go to? Okay, you will saw what I wrote there, right? I just wrote there, and the points 2, 3, and 4, 4 are on the line. So Antonio's equation is correct. I'm not gonna type the equation, type those words again. Please just write down what we wrote before. So that was the end of lesson uh, 5 and chapter 9 for you. So your homework is of course going to be the remaining part, the remaining lesson, the remaining questions which are on page number 521. So that's going to be question number 3, 4, 5, 6. So you will do question number 3, 4, 5, 6, and the next page question number 1 and 2 you will have to be doing. So until I meet you tomorrow in the next video, take care of yourself and stay safe.